Good evening. The pilots of the Ethiopian Airlines flight, which crashed last month, killing all 157 people on board, followed all the procedures recommended by the plane's manufacturers. That's the conclusion of a preliminary report by Ethiopian investigators. The country's transport minister described how the Boeing 737 MAX repeatedly nosedived despite the pilot's best efforts. The plane's anti-stall software is at the centre of an investigation into the fatal 737 MAX crash in Indonesia last year. Boeing says it'll review the report and take all necessary steps to enhance aircraft safety. Here's our transport correspondent, Tom Burridge.
Harrowing details today of the final moments before this Ethiopian Airlines Boeing 737 MAX-8 plummeted into the ground. Seconds after takeoff, an automatic anti-stall mechanism was pushing the plane down. The pilots wrestled to pull up. But like the crew on the same type of plane, which crashed months earlier in similar circumstances, they were unable to bring the plane under control. At one point, the Ethiopian crew followed the procedure outlined by Boeing, but they couldn't stop the plane nosediving again.
The crew performed all the procedures repeatedly provided by the manufacturer, but was not able to control the aircraft.
346 people killed in two similar crashes involving Boeing's latest short-haul aircraft. The MAX is Boeing's latest version of its very popular 737. New, heavier engines make it much more fuel efficient, but in flight, their weight and position force the plane's nose up a bit. If the angle of flight becomes too high, then a plane can stall and crash. So Boeing designed a computer system on the MAX called MCAS, which automatically pushes the nose down. Before the MAX was grounded, that system relied on just one of two sensors at the front of the aircraft, which calculate the angle at which the plane is flying. But in both crashes, the data from that sensor was incorrect. So, as we've shown up here, the computer system thought the plane was at a high angle of attack when, in fact, it wasn't. Look at what happens when the system kicks in. It was designed to do that, but instead it wrongly caused the plane to nosedive. Unaware of what was happening, the pilots pulled up. But the system was designed to reactivate again and again. And within minutes, they'd lost control.
She had leadership written all over her. She had compassion in an intellectually rigorous way. Everybody loved her.
Ralph Nader's great-niece was on the Ethiopian Airlines flight. Famous for battling and beating big multinationals over safety, he now plans to take Boeing to court.
Usually airlines and aircraft manufacturers get away with a quick settlement, a little bit of a public relations problem. My message to Boeing is, don't think this is going to happen again. And the responsibility will start with the CEO and the managers that made this critically fatal decision for over 350 innocent people.
You can see that the aircraft is now in quite a steep dive. Now that's the effect of MCAS.
Captain Chris Brady has 18 years of experience flying 737s.
That's the stall warning to tell you the aircraft's about to stall.
And so he thinks the processes by which planes are modified and certified need to be reviewed.
It's the processes which are flawed, and the processes should be catching these kind of developments.
Boeing says safety is at the core of everything it does. With hundreds grounded and thousands of orders on ice, it's working to modify this plane to make it safer. But some will question whether it should have been signed off to fly. Tom Burridge, BBC News.